This demo is going to show Kyligen's pivot to Snowflake. So first, let's show you the Snowflake database. This database contains movie data. It's movie review data. So the fact table includes ratings from 1 million movies. It also is joined with tables that give user demographic information. So I was able to put this right into Kyligence Cloud. Very easy. I just signed in with my Snowflake information and was able to load the tables, which actually doesn't load any data, but it just loads the metadata. So I was able to build a model. So what the model is it is just us telling Kyligence how our data is connected. So in this case, we have the fact table, fact ratings, and it links to the name of the movies, the users, and the dates. And I use this to create the MDX layer. So I'll show you that. MDX is Microsoft's query language. It allows you to create elegant calculations and a nice semantic layer. So I'm going to just skip through this wizard. It's really easy to use. You don't have to do much, actually. The first time you do it, you can kind of build it out over time. So there isn't a huge barrier to getting started. This screen is one of the most important parts. It's where you can create names that are maybe more business friendly for your dimensions, and you can create your calculations. So I created a calculation for average rating, also for year over year, previous year. I also created hierarchies. So for example, for movies, I created a hierarchy for main genre, subgenre, and title. This is a really powerful tool. I'm just going to skip through the rest real quick. So it's not mandatory. So we'll just get to the good stuff and we'll connect to Excel, build a pivot table. So to connect to Excel, I just followed this tutorial. We have it available. It gives you all the information you need for your exact instance to show up on Excel. So I'm actually just going to copy this server address. And let's pull up Excel. So I have this clean workbook, and I'm going to insert the information to connect to Kyligence Cloud, which will then pull the data from Snowflake. So I just pasted in that server address I got from our tutorial, and I'm going to type in my information to log in. And we want the 1 million movies. So I'm just going to hit finish. Okay. And there we have it. Now we have the pivot table, so we can start exploring our data. Pretty exciting because that was really easy to do. And you'll see this is a great tool. I think a lot of people use pivot tables, but if you're not familiar, a great tool to explore your data and learn more. So I'm going to let's show the movies hierarchy as our columns. That's the genre, subgenre, title. And I'm going to show the occupation of the users in the row. I'm kind of interested to see like what kind of occupations, how do different occupations rate movies differently? So I'm going to look at average rating as well and put that in my measure. And there's the data from Snowflake. So it just came up. I want to show you before we continue quickly, I just want to show you the query history. So I can show you that this is querying directly on Snowflake. So we're not actually querying, the data is still living on Snowflake, and we're just sending a query through our connector into here. So go back to the Excel pivot table, and we'll start looking into this data, see if we can learn anything from doing that. So I'm going to filter the occupations just to a couple key occupations. So I'll do academic/educator, artist. Why don't we do lawyer, programmer, and engineer. And then we will also filter the movie genres. So let's filter these to just a couple key ones. So comedy and documentary, because those are a little bit distinct. And I'm going to build just a chart. I'm going to add the chart because it's just easier for me to read the data. So if you use pivot tables a lot, you know how nice that feature is. I'm going to I want to see who likes documentaries the most. So I'm going to sort that, largest to smallest. And now we see on our chart that lawyers like documentaries the most, and programmers seem to like documentaries the least. We can also tell that overall people seem to like documentaries more than comedies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use the hierarchy to drill down into comedy. And let's look at the subgenres. And that should tell us how people like each subgenre of comedy. So animated comedy, just general comedy, musical comedy, and romantic comedy. And now we can see here, I still have documentary, it's a light blue one, and the dark blue one is actually animated comedy. So it seems like people actually really like animated comedies just as much about as they like documentaries. What they seem to like less are the other three genres. So somebody exploring this might be like, oh, wonder what's going on with animated comedies, so they can then drill down even more. So I'm actually going to just look at animated comedy with these occupations. So I'm going to uncheck everything and just check animated comedy. And now I'm going to sort to see who likes it the most and who likes it the least. So it seems like artists like animated comedy the most, and academic/educator likes it the least. So I don't know why teachers don't seem to like animated comedy. There's probably lots of reasons. Maybe they see too many animations, but this is kind of just an example of how you could use this to create insights and quickly explore your data that's hosted on Snowflake with a pivot table. So just to recap, we connected Snowflake with Kyligence Cloud, and we used that connection to actually query directly on Snowflake and find these insights through a pivot table.